tradition, guys. You know, what are some of the things that you should not do during the Tết holidays? According to Vietnamese tradition. Educate me.
I think some of the people should pay all the debts before Tết holiday, and they shouldn't sweep house, or like, because all of their prosperity or luck will flow out of the house. I'm kind of a traditional girl. I'm not really sure.
I can tell. You are the perfect daughter-in-law. If I were your mother-in-law, you'd be like, you're spot on.
I hope a lot of moms are watching this.
Yeah.
Hi, Mom.
Your next challenge is going to be wrapping the spring roll, and that's it. You pass that, you're good to go.
I love that. I love that a lot.
My wife is the undisputed global champion of spring roll rolling.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, she's really good.
So she passed the test too.
Oh, she definitely
passed
did.
all the tests.
Oh, yes, of course, in many different ways. Okay, so anything else we should not be doing during the New Year, during the Tết holidays? I think people talk about not swearing, not saying bad things, not bad-mouthing anything, not killing anything.
Swearing is fine. Sometimes, because when we swear, it's like we don't actually mean that. It's just like a group of community, like friends or family, like just for fun. A little bit amount is fine.
Yeah, I think profanity is off limits when it comes to hanging out with your family. It's gonna be making everybody kind of uncomfortable.
To a certain extent.
So a don't for me is to not look or even take a peek at the envelope that you're given. I mean, I think it's super rude.
Yeah.
Don't pass a comment. It's like, oh man, this year's is. I don't think you're doing so well this past fiscal year.
Yeah.
I don't think you should pass comments about the amount of money that people give you as lucky money, as inconsequential as that may be. Because I think it's a nice gesture. Don't take it too seriously, and not rich or poor. If you get a ton of money during the Lunar New Year holiday. Anyways, so be courteous, be respectful, because the people who are giving money to you are likely your senior.
Yes. I have not received money in a long, long time. I bet you will, because you have tomato, you have cachua.
Oh yeah, we're still banking on her.
Yeah, and you probably still, are receiving money because you're not receiving money anymore in the right envelope.
I must be the one who give the money to others. Yeah, my younger friends or relatives.
How do you feel about people thinking that you should be the one that's giving money? Like, are you comfortable with that idea? How do you feel about it?
Like people our age?
No, like people in your family. Sometimes when you go somewhere to visit people, just because you're the adult, you should be giving all the kids in that family red envelope money. How do you feel about that?
I don't think you necessarily have to. I don't think people should be pressured into doing that. I mean, it should be out of their own will, because if they really mean it as a form of good luck, then they should take the initiative and do that, and people shouldn't pressure the adults into doing that. Some people may have a rough year, you don't know. They may still have debt when Lunar New Year comes around. Not everybody has a clean financial slate and in a financially comfortable position to be given out a bunch of money, and it's substantial. I mean, if you add that up, maybe your kid is not necessarily the favorite of the family, so they don't get as much money as other kids, and you end up in the red after the season, and so I don't think there should be this pressure. Usually when people come over to my house, just to hang out for the Lunar New Year holiday, I would try to give them distractions so they don't feel pressure, they don't feel like they have to give money to my kid. Like I would bring out board games, put on a movie or whatever, just try to keep them fed and keep them entertained, so that there's no, people don't pay attention to all these formalities.
one of the things that I did a couple of years back, and I still want to do it, but I never really talked to people about whether they enjoy it or not, is that instead of giving red envelope money, I actually gave like the kids something that I think they would be able to use. So for some kids I gave books, for some other kids I gave, you know, like some certain items that they can use. And it seems like I like that idea, but it seems maybe not all kids like that idea.
It's not very well received.
No.
Okay.
I think nowadays more kids like that keep exchanging.
Depending on how young the kids are, you know.
Yeah.
It's funny because like the younger the kids, the more materialistic they
Yes,
seem to be.
yes, sure.
So the adolescents can appreciate, oh, you're giving me a book, you know. But I agree. I think it requires a greater investment in both time, energy, and effort.
Yeah.
So.
And I'm not a, you know, I like kids in general, but there are certain behaviors of kids that I do not like, right? And if I can speak to the kids, that, you know, this is what I'm going to tell them, like, don't do this, right?
Yes.
If you're 2, don't do this. And that is, you know, and this happened within my family as well. You know, the kids come to my house and, you know, they spend some time there. Of course, we have chocolates and we have nice chocolates, right? And then they just go out there, they're like, I'm like, what do you want? They're like, I'm like, no, I'm not giving you anything. And then the mom would be like, oh, no, that's a chocolate. Can you give it to her? I'm like, no, I ain't giving you anything unless you ask for it.
Oh, you must be a strict mom in the future. Really, really a strict mom.
Trying to school the parents on how to parent.
And then the parents just like, no, just give the kid. I'm just like, no, she's not behaving. And then so the kid was just like, throughout the whole session, I'm just like, you do it that way, you're not getting anything from me. And you continue to do it next year, you ain't getting any red envelope money.
Okay.
Oh, I see. But
Sanctions.
will that kid be a little bit mad at you or something?
Oh yes, the kid was mad, but I don't care.
Gotta uphold your standards when you're in this house.
Am I too tough?
No,
I think so.
I think like people should be respectful of the etiquette that the host sets out in the beginning. I mean, you're in the presence of somebody else's house. You know, you should be respectful of all the rules because it's their sanctuary, right? They should feel comfortable first and foremost, and the guests, I think, will, by extension, be more comfortable if, you know, both parties
Absolutely.
kind of come to an understanding.
Absolutely. So would you do the same thing that I did, or would you just give the kids?
Oh no,
You guys.
no kid gets anything in my household.
Why?
Because I'm not here.
Okay, I see.
But my wife thinks of everything, and she would stock up on all the snacks and all the treats and everything. But we don't get a lot of kids in our house, to be honest.
Do Tomato's friends come over to your house?
Oh no, we never see her friends. For some reason, I would only see her friends if I come over to her kindergarten, but she would never come over to my house.
Right.
Which is a shame. It's like a lost tradition because usually, like back in the old days, people would talk about how there's a lot more interaction between kids' parents.
Yeah, it's so interesting. I remember when I was a little kid and I did something that was really terrible, and that only comes to show how kids interact with each other. But when I was a young little girl, I think I was about 3 or 4, I remember this very clearly because it was the biggest lesson. I went to somebody's house during the dead holidays, and that time, you know, it was during like the late 90s, early 90s, late 80s, early 90s, and then, you know, like there are those plastic fans that the kids have with their candy.
Okay.
And I really liked that. I didn't have it, and so I took it. I put it in my pocket, and then I went home. And then, oh my God, like I got a big scolding, and then literally my parents made me that day during midnight go back to their house and to bring it back to them and give it back to them because I stole it from them.
But did you explain to your parents?
You're not cut out for thievery.
No, well, it wasn't given to me. It was the kids' stuff, right? And so it was stealing, you know. But it's interesting that, you know, as kids, like there are certain desires that is like just so innately animalistic, don't you think? And it shows when the kids interact with each other.
Well, I mean, it's perfectly normal to covet. I mean, adults covet all the time. We don't blatantly take other people's stuff, but I think we could if we would if we could. But yeah, I think it's I think adults can successfully refrain from such behaviors, but the urge is there, right? And we don't change all that much.
Yeah, even now I was 18, 17 at my high school, and I took a lot of pens and stationery stuff into my bags and went back to my home, and I took all of the pens from my classmates, just like they left there on the table, and I took it. That's it. Yeah.
I feel like it's the time for me to confess to something that I've stolen.
Oh, we should confess all
You guys came out.
Yeah.
No, but
Yes, what did you do, Tùng Đặng?
Well, take something from other people. I didn't take personal belongings. I did something even worse. I stole from a bookstore.
My mom once told that it's not a guilty thing to do.
It's not a bad thing to do.
Yeah, it's appropriate if we steal the books from somewhere because it's about knowledge and no one will have any punishment.
That's that's some radical parenting going on there.
Your mom is very open.
I was so naive. So my mom gave me this allowance for books, and she was with me in the bookstore. She said you could only spend X amount, so work that out. I wanted to buy 2 books, and that would exceed the allowance, and so I foolishly stuffed 1 in my pants. And another kid saw it and reported it to. There weren't CCTV cameras or anything like that back in the day. I could have gotten away with it, but
They checked your pants.
Yeah, they checked my pants on the way out, like they check everybody else's pants. But a kid told on me to one of the security guards, and my mom was very embarrassed at the store.
Well, great stories, guys.
Yeah.
Since we're at the end of the year and the beginning of a new year, let's wish our audience a happy new year. So let's maybe go, each one of us will say something to our audience. And guys, just have a look at the camera and speak to the audience. So yeah, V, what do you have to say?
I just want everyone to have a happy new year, a year full of happiness and success. It might sound cliche, but sometimes we have a year full of success, and I think you're gonna get it. Yay, happy new year.
My wish for you is that you get to spend plenty of time with your loved ones, whether that be in Vietnam or any country or destination of your choice. Just get to spend a lot of time with your family and loved ones, and cherish that time. Don't look down so often, look up and actually make eye contact and spend quality time with it.
During the New Year of the Mouse, I wish that we can all be as resourceful as the mouse, being able to maneuver our way around nooks and crevices of every individual issues that we might find in life.
Without getting caught.
Without getting caught, and to be able to gather our rice and make heaps and heaps of achievements and success and things that we want to do in this year. So let's all be like the mouse and have a happy new year.
Happy New Year, guys.